Hi guys, and welcome back to another video, or welcome if this is your first time here. My name is Dana. I am a homeschooling mama to 4 little ones, and today I am so excited because I get to talk to you guys about one of my favorite topics, which is homeschooling curriculum, specifically a phonics curriculum. This is called Foundational Phonics Letter Mastery. The author of this curriculum reached out to me a little while ago wanting to know if I wanted to take a look at it, and I am so glad I said yes, and I have to publicly thank her for all the work that she did put into this curriculum. I was so excited and blown away. I think most of all because I've seen a lot of different reading curriculums out there, but never one done in such a beautiful multi-sensory approach. So I'm so excited to just do a complete flip through and show you guys exactly what that is going to look like, because if you are also like our family and you have a little one with a speech delay or an impediment, this is going to be amazing for that. Just amazing for teaching those little ones with struggling speech disorders to learn how to read. Not just that, it's going to be beautiful for dyslexic learners, just struggling readers who do need a more hands-on sensory approach to learning how to lay that strong foundation for reading. I am just thrilled with this. I am truly thankful, and I cannot wait to show you guys what is probably going to be one of my new favorite reading curriculums, especially for the struggling learner. But with all that being said, let's go ahead. We're going to grab the camera, turn it around, and get into the flip through. All right, so once again, we have Foundational Phonics Letter Mastery Book 1. This is the 3rd edition. Author is Ariel Gunther Mount. And again, another huge thank you to her for sending this my way. I am genuinely just so excited to show this beautiful curriculum to you guys. When I first opened this and when I was initially doing the flip through, I immediately thought of our well-loved and used McGuffey readers. It has the same fonts, kind of the same pictures and feel, and this is why I was like, this is going to fit so beautifully into our home with what we're kind of already using. So this is why I'm just so in love with this. Anyway, first page here is the cardstock poster. You can take this out, put it on your wall, use this as like a reference chart for your little ones. Comes right out of the book easily. So I'll be, as soon as this video is done, taking this out and putting it on our wall above where our school table is. And again, it is a first course in letter mastery for excellence in reading. And then you're going to go into the before you begin this book section, which is going to really give you a whole bunch of insight and really important information that you need to know as a mama before diving into this book. Again, this is a multi-sensory approach, so they give a lot of different examples of what they mean and what they do when it comes to this course. So you have their ear training part, what that means. So the purpose of this exercise is to help your child start hearing letter sounds and the words he speaks every day. So ideally, ear training should begin before any letters or sounds are taught formally. This helps him to understand that words are actually made up of many different sounds blended together. And I love doing this already. So one of the reasons why I really love this book, and I already touched on this slightly, but I'll touch on it again because it is so important. If you do have a little one with a speech delay and you're trying to introduce them to phonics and blending things, and that can be really difficult, especially if your little ones are having trouble pronouncing different sounds and blending sounds together. Phonics and introducing them to reading can be quite a challenge, especially if their speech is just a little bit delayed or if they have a little bit of an impediment still. But I love doing ear training. So with my toddler now, for her kind of speech therapy that we do with her, we do a lot of ear training for her. And so I love how they emphasize just practicing. So in other words, bring me a box. When it says, instead of saying bring me a box, you're going to be pronouncing words and using words with separated kind of sounds and syllables, if that makes sense. So I absolutely love that they integrate this so beautifully into this curriculum. And then they do tongue training, which is huge. Absolutely huge if you have struggling learners, speakers, dyslexia, anything like that. Huge part of that. And then of course your eye training, which is important for every learning style across the board. So fostering a love for learning, and I love this as well, when she says that many parents who are beginning the process of home education feel the burden of expectations for what learning should look like. They often come into it thinking that learning at home should look pretty similar to traditional classroom learning, which is so true. What they don't always realize is that homeschooling is supposed to be different. It allows for an individualized approach to teaching and learning outside of the one-size-fits-all model. So homeschooling gives parents a unique ability to cater to their child's specific needs and learning style because they know their child better than anyone else. So I love that they also kind of talk about that, especially when it comes to the first-time homeschooler. They might not know where to start or how to begin, and so I love that they mention that it is separate, is very different than a typical school setup. So if you are a first-time homeschooling mama, this would be a wonderful again, resource for you to use with your little ones. So for how to use this book, lesson plans, there are 26 chapters in this book, each one focusing on a letter of the alphabet. There is no required schedule for this. Lessons should be done consistently and often, but paced with your individual child's needs and abilities in mind. I love self-paced curriculum. I love the ones that don't really necessarily have lesson numbers. These do have chapters, but there's no designated lesson. So if you need to do 1 page a day and call it a day, that's fine. If you want to do 3 or 4, that's also fine as well. And again, most importantly, remember to keep everything fun, which is great. So it goes more into what the multi-sensory approach is. So this program uses a multisensory approach. In simple terms, the idea is to build strong pathways in a child's brain by presenting information in several formats that utilize multiple senses. So again, visual, auditory, tactile, kinesthetic, olfactory, and taste. Olfactory and taste. It has been scientifically proven that children who struggle with dyslexia can often overcome their challenges by using a multisensory approach. So activities that have been particularly helpful to these children are writing letters or words in the air or sand. And then also keep in mind as you proceed through the program and look for ways to add more multisensory reinforcements that will work best for your specific child. And then down here, it goes into the section where it's just practical suggestions of what to do for the more hands-on learning. So write letters in the air, in the sand, doing sign language, which also is included in this book, which I find to be so unique and beautiful that they do that. And just all kinds of different beautiful suggestions for making it come to life. And because this is a phonics-based program, they use diacritical marks, and I love that they do this. I know in the revised McGuffies, they also do diacritical marks in that course. They don't in the older version, but I do prefer teaching beginning reading with the diacritical marks. I think it really helps, especially for a more visual learner, to actually see what those letter sounds make. So I love that they include that. And then we go into the proper handwriting, proper pencil grip instructions, which I love, again, for the visual learner. My 4-year-old loved looking at this. And then proper, like how to hold the paper and things like that. So then we go into chapter 1, and I have to say this is one of my favorite things about this curriculum is the fact that they show you pictures of what the letter sound is supposed to make. If you have a speech delayed little one, you know how important it is that they see the mouth working and moving. So if you have a little one with an impediment or anything like that, whenever you're teaching them new letter sounds and new, like how to pronounce anything, really being able to get down on their level and letting them look at your mouth as you're speaking is so incredibly critical for them learning how to pronounce things. So the fact that there's pictures in here, I was so excited to see, because now my 4-year-old, she was looking at this, she's already used this. There's a little bit of scribbles here from my 2-year-old, because she was also doing this. Anyway, my 4-year-old was looking at this and looking at the picture and matching her mouth to this mouth and is able to do this. Now she already knows how to pronounce most of her letters, just because we worked with her for the past year or so on really kind of correcting that impediment. But this is just incredible to me that they have it in here. So we have M with a little exercise that they're going to do for the day. We've already done the first couple lessons here. It says, look around you. How many things can you find or think of that begin with the M sound? So practice this letter and add it to your flashcards. So all the flashcards just pop out. You don't have to cut them apart. So I love that. They're pre-dotted on the line if you can see it. So they're super easy and user-friendly to actually tear out the flashcards. So take the letter M flashcard, we're going to recognize it, we're going to go through the house, seeing all the letter M things that we can find in our home. And then this is just 2 things, not just 2 things, I love literally every single aspect of this curriculum, but they have a thing called mouth gymnastics. Again, if you have a little one with a speech delay or impediment, this is a game changer for me, because I haven't really seen any other reading curriculum have all of these elements so specifically designed for that struggling learner, reader, again, speech impediment, dyslexia, anything. So it has something called mouth gymnastics, and you say, can you say this with me? So Miss Muffet makes marvelous mango muffins. I'm gonna be honest, I don't have the clearest English speech either. Like, my speech is a little bit muffled, as I'm sure if you've been around, you can probably tell that. So even I have been enjoying doing these very slowly and simply with my 4-year-old. And then another favorite part, guys, is it has the American ASL, so you can use Sign This with me for letter M. So they're going to learn the alphabet and sign language. I am so incredibly impressed by just all the different elements and how catered this is and how perfect this is for our family, especially since, again, my little one does have that little bit of an impediment still. So turning the page here, we get well into chapter 1. And the next page is listen to your teacher, read a story about something with the M sound in it, and draw some pictures from the story. And then down here, it has a couple of different story options. You can either pick these up, rent them from your library. We have Town Mouse and Country Mouse. We also have The King, the Mice, and the Cheese. We also have Mouse Paint, and we also have The Mitten. And we also have Al Moon, which we love and adore in our home. So read one of those stories. And with my 4-year-old, or really anyone who you're working within this curriculum, they don't have to draw perfectly either. But this is just a fun way for them to practice those skills. So optional extra activities for this letter: you can write the letter in the sand, stamp it or mold it in clay, make a letter of the week craft or poster, which I also love the ideas, and point out this letter wherever you see it. And again, it does emphasize you're searching for the letter sound throughout your home. You can just do so much within that. How many M's can you find? And this is another one that my 4-year-old loved doing, is pointing to all the uppercase and lowercase. I've mentioned before on my channel that I love when they teach uppercase and lowercase together. I see no point in learning them separately when you have to learn them twice almost. So I love how they learn them together. So how many M's can you find? Say the sound each time you circle one. So we are going to now use this. I wanted to wait until we did this video, but now we're going to go back and actually do all the circling and have fun with it. Letter M, and I also love that does cursive, guys. I'm teaching all of my kiddos cursive, but we also are doing the Christian Light Education program for my 2nd and 3rd grader, which naturally includes cursive writing. So for here, we're going to study the picture. Can you find anything that begins with the M sound? So we found the mirror, the monkey, and things like that. And then down here, it's going to give you the answers in case you need help with that, like I do sometimes. Anyway, you go next page here, you do some introduction to some handwriting. We practice doing uppercase and lowercase. I love this illustration here, and I've used this with my kids since the very beginning, of having the upstairs, the downstairs, and the basement when it comes to writing. So whenever I need to correct their handwriting, or when they need to redo something, I'm like, uh-oh, this went down to the basement, it needs to stay upstairs, or uh-oh, this went way upstairs, it needs to stay down here, things like that. And then of course down here, the little reminder, are you holding your pencil correctly? Don't forget your bird beak. I love that when it comes to like making sure you have a little bird beak on when you're holding your pencil. I love it. Okay, and then we'll flip the page here. Again, you're still in chapter 1, working on the letter M. So you can kind of see how this can be self-paced based off of what your child is ready for. You're working on really one flashcard per chapter, and you can really see and kind of feel where they're at. So say the name of each picture, listen for the M sound, color or circle all the pictures that begin with the M sound. So she's gonna go through and do that. And then of course down here, it has all the answers right there. Draw a picture of something that begins with the M sound. So very similar, letting them get all artsy, and then it kind of ties up the letter M. Turn the page again. Listen as your teacher reads the story. Tap the book or clap your hands every time you hear the M sound. I love this as well. This is going to teach them active listening, and active listening skills is so important, especially as you get to a little bit of a higher grade level. So has anyone seen my mouse? I opened his box for half a minute just to make sure he was really in it. I will say as well, whenever I do things like this with my 4-year-old, I will always, whenever there is an M word, I will emphasize it. So I will say, I opened his box for half a minute just to make. So I am holding out the M longer to give them the opportunity to listen and hear. And it really does teach them those active listening skills. When I've done this before in the past, especially with having a child with speech impediment, when you emphasize those words the first time, then when you go back and read it the second time, you do it again. When you go back and read it by the 3rd and 4th and 5th time, they will know very, very clearly what even word comes next, and they'll quickly pronounce it by themselves, if that makes sense. So really pronouncing the actual sounds that you're working on is wonderful for doing that. So teacher tips for this exercise. So following along with your finger, read the verse to your student. Now read it a second time more slowly. Be sure to clearly enunciate each word, especially the M sound, which is what I was just mentioning, so he is sure to catch it. Have him say the sound and clap or tap the page when he hears it. Pause and have him circle the word that contains that sound. This game can be great fun, which is so true because we do it on a daily basis. As practice continues, he should gain confidence and start to pick up on the sounds more quickly each time. So that's that page. Next page, we're going to name the picture. And then we're going to draw a line to match the beginning sound with the letter. This is one of my kiddos' favorite activities. They've always enjoyed doing like little matching games and preschool things. And then it goes into chapter 2, where we are going to be focusing on the short A sound. And it's the exact same layout where you look around you. How many things can you find or think of that begin with the A sound? How many A's can you find? We're drawing pictures. We're practicing writing the A. We're doing some studying pictures. If your kids really like doing any type of artwork or art observation, this is another great way to boost their observation skills by just asking them other questions about the picture, to answer questions that you ask. So you can say, what are they picking? Which is the letter A, of course. How many children are there? How many apples are on the ground? What color do you think everything is? They can color the picture, just to really build that conversation. So again, you have your letter A. Handwriting practice, you're finding things that begin with the letter A down here. So very similar layout with all the letters, and then we go into letter N. So now that you know kind of what each chapter entails and what everything looks like, I'm going to just do a flip through of the next maybe dozen letters, and then I will come back on and talk to you about some of the other more advanced concepts in here. Okay, I did want to jump on here. So once you get to chapter 4, so you've introduced several consonants and the short A sound by this time. So by the time you get to chapter 4, you're going to start introducing blending the letters. And I love that they do the arrows in a very similar way of how to teach your child to read in 100 easy lessons. So they have the arrows, so they're going to take their little finger and go and then follow the arrows and then blend them together. My 4-year-old loves doing this way, and I mentioned before as well, if your little one has that speech impediment, this is a wonderful way for them to visually feel and see the letters blending. And my 4-year-old loves doing these exercises, and it's actually how she's already starting to blend these 2-letter words, is by doing the little arrow thing. So by chapter 4, you're starting to blend the letters that you've already kind of been learning about. So part of chapter 5 is going to say, read the words that do not have arrows under them for the student. So at this point, they should already be able to pronounce the words with the arrows, and so you'll just fill in the blanks for them. So they're starting to really visually put sentences together and starting to form full-on thoughts with the words. So chapter 6, again, same type of a thing. We're starting to introduce more reading and more sounds at this point. So the letter S, you're introducing S to the words or to the sounds that they already have mastered and that they already know. I also love just how much poetry and the stories are included. And then again, this is done in a very similar way to the McGuffey readers as well. As far as just the picture, the whole feel of it is just so similar. I love it so much when it comes to that. So this is a letter E. So we are in chapter 9. This is kind of the same layout and feel throughout everything. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit so you can get an idea of where the middle of the book might kind of land, but you're kind of introducing, again, the same type of a blends with the arrows, just introducing new sounds that they've learned along the way. One of the reasons why I love that they do this particularly is there's so much practice with pronouncing these letters. So by the time you actually get to the part where you're reading full sentences, they've mastered them so well because there has just been so much practice with that one letter sound. So I love that they are reinforcing that with, again, so many different types of visual, tactile, just all the different ways for little ones to master the phonics concept. So we're going to jump back here to the end. We are going to take a look at some of the last few letters here and kind of see how book 1 ends before we jump to the next one. So we have Sam sat on the steps, Sam bit a yam, yum. Yes, a yam is not bad. So this is going to be how the story kind of ends. And then, of course, congratulations, you have completed book 1 and mastered all of your letters. I just love this so much. I think it's so precious. We're going to go ahead and go through book 2 now that we've learned all of our letter sounds. We're going to be jumping to chapter 1, and this book here is going to really lay the firm foundation for teaching your child to read. We have, again, mastered all of the basic concepts. We've mastered the entire alphabet when it comes to letter blending, and so now this is going to reinforce everything and continue on that. It's done in a very similar way and a very gentle approach, kind of similar to the Christian Light Education Learning to Read program, which, if you guys are new around here, that is my top pick for learning how to read and laying that firm foundation. However, every child is so different, and because my 4-year-old does have that speech impediment, this is just like my dream curriculum for her. It really is. So this is going to be her core reading curriculum that we're going to be using, and I'm just so excited. I know she's going to love it too. So we're going to read and practice these words. And the other thing too about this, let me grab them really quick, is you can pop out the flashcards and sound out the words. So this will be something that she's doing. Now with her, because she's already blending these words and she already knows really everything from book 1, we're probably going to maybe jump in halfway through, or we might even do the beginning. I'm not sure yet. We'll see what she wants to do since she is still young, but she is kind of ready for book 2 almost, just because we've already been working on all of the sounds. So I might jump her into this just to see how she does, because we take these little magnetic tiles and we already blend out the words with just like the short A's, the short E sound. So she's already kind of done a little bit of this, but she does it in this format where we'll take flashcards or little tiles and blend out the letters that way. So I am, again, so excited about this. So we're going to go into, again, all the short vowel sounds for the A, doing copy work, again, focusing on penmanship. We're going to be introducing punctuation marks. We have the short vowel sound I, so we go through that. The short O sound, so we go through that whole chapter. Short U sound. Let's see here, silent E sound. This is always, the silent E's is always kind of what throws my little ones off a little bit. So we have the silent E's, which will be fun to introduce that concept to her with, again, just plenty of practice for mastering that concept. So it's a huge section on silent E. I love how much practice is on this. And all the different grammar rules are already kind of interwoven throughout. So S can make 2 different sounds. The first sound is a hissing sound like a snake would make, which is, again, great. I love that they do all the sounds and things like that. Sound of S, the buzzing S. We then jump into syllables. So close syllables, and then read and practice these words. Mastery milestone challenges, consonant twins. This has really just been a lot of fun for me to look through. It is just so simple, so well done. I can see how every single chapter you're really mastering the concept. You can, of course, reinforce it with storybooks and doing other chapter books. That's one of the things that I would tell any homeschool mama is you can do the best reading program out there. and you can master concepts, but it's so important to still open up those books and let them practice reading it in a storybook form to really solidify concepts. And sometimes if you do have a struggling learner, it's nice just to have a resource where it's just kind of open and go. You do your studying, do the concept, and you move on. There's not going to be a lot of different distractions and a lot of different things to take their concentration away, especially if you are doing a bunch of different either hands-on things and things like that. I do think it would be an amazing resource just for so many different learning styles. You have Val Friends, Val Couples, and then all the story reviews. And then this page here is how your course is going to end, as far as this is the level they'll be at when they complete the entire course. So just for a complete rundown, you can start your child with learning just the letter sound. So very, very simple. You can start very, very young with book 1. Just because it is so simple, so gentle, and I love how slowly it builds without being monotonous. So they're not going to be doing the exact same thing every single day, even though they will be doing the same thing every week. Is how I kind of like to look at it, because I'll probably break up the chapters into by the week. But this is how they start the year, and then this is how they will be ending the year. So I love it. It is really an all-inclusive, everything you need to teach your little one how to read in a gentle way and multi-sensory approach in this one curriculum. And I am a huge fan of it, if you can tell. And I just had to thank again Ariel for sending this over to me. I cannot wait to dive into this with my 4-year-old. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed seeing a look at Foundational Phonics. This is one that, again, I just find to be so beautiful and unique and ties in so many beautiful different things. Even the sign language aspect was beautiful, just the way they do it, the multi-sensory approach. I'm just so thrilled about it. I really, really am. And I cannot thank the author enough for sending this my way, because we are actually going to actively use this now with my 4-year-old. And I'm just, again, thrilled. So I'm going to update you guys, keep you updated along the way as far as how we're liking it, how she's doing with it. And I highly, highly recommend it for if you have, again, either a struggling learner or a dyslexic or speech impediment in your home. I just highly recommend it for that. Anyway, yeah, thank you guys again for being here and for watching. Until my next video, you guys have a wonderful day, whatever you're doing, and God bless. Bye guys.